Second and goal from the 8. Bill, I expect him to go back to Preston Smith in the corner of that end zone again. He's been tackled twice in the end zone. He's got that decided height advantage.
Kevin Lee's 5'10".
And Preston is 6'4". That's a 6-inch advantage, and it's Lee on Smith on Preston again. Back to pass. Here he goes. He'll throw it over to Preston. He goes up, and he makes the catch. Touchdown, Davenport. Preston Smith, a brilliant catch, even though I think he was hit again. And Davenport's going to be back within one score after the PAT. And with that, we welcome you to the Davenport Coaches Show, coming to you live from Uccello's in Caledonia. I'm Rick Berkey. The head coach, Sparky McEwen, is here. We've got some other special guests. Linebacker Austin Allward will join us as well. And Scott Cook, the only track and field and cross-country coach Davenport's ever known in both men's and women's track and field and cross-country. Special guest, he's going to join us. We're going to review Saturday's big win at home to go to 4-0 and talk about this upcoming game this coming Saturday up in the UP against Northern Michigan. And with that, we welcome the head coach. And Coach, let's start right with, there are certain game plans that you like to follow. Falling down 17-0 in the first quarter is probably not one of them, but it turned out okay.
Well, first of all, did you call that touchdown?
I did.
That was pretty good.
Thank you.
I mean,
you're surprised. It was pretty. Yeah, that was you. Yeah.
Are we that easy to figure out that you called that from the box? I'm impressed.
I did. Well, again, as long as you get that 6-inch advantage, and that brings up another thing here. First of all, let's give you the other thing. Let's go back to the other thing as far as the recipe for success doesn't always involve falling behind 17-0 in the first quarter.
No. To answer that, obviously we talk about adversity as a group, and we talk about the peaks and valleys in the game. And the way that thing started out, we weren't shocked, that they drove the ball down the way that they did. And, we play a great style of defense here, but when you're playing against a offense as difficult as Michigan Tech, a lot of times it takes those first two series to settle down. So they went down, I don't know if it was about a 10-play drive or whatever it was, but they got that thing in there, and then all of a sudden, Rick, they kick it off to us, and our up back fumbles it, and they recover it, and they score again, and our guys didn't blink. To their credit, they didn't blink, and, we stayed right in there. We stayed patient, and we knew there was a lot of football left, and we had some type of experience like that in Truman when we had all the turnovers, and then they came back and went up, and our guys never blinked. They didn't panic, so very proud of the guys because of that.
And the plus side of that is you don't want it to happen again, but if you do fall behind by 10 or 14 or whatever, you probably, you've already experienced that you can come back from that.
Yeah, but, you don't want to dial it up that way, but absolutely. Our offense has definitely been, it's been a project over the couple of years that we've been here. We've struggled at the quarterback position with health. And we finally feel like we have some guys in here that bring some leadership qualities to our offensive unit. And, confidence is everything. Confidence is everything. And we've got a couple quarterbacks that's playing with confidence. One's a captain. Both are leaders. And, we're proud of those guys.
Coach, feel free to disagree with me, but I mentioned to Bill in the broadcast that you don't usually say a turning point can be when the other team scores. But I felt when they scored their third touchdown, but it took them 7 plays from inside the 5-yard line. 7 snaps from inside the 5 it took them to finally get in the end zone. I thought that turned around because at that point, you guys really put a wall up.
That's a great point that you make there. And, in the process of that happening, we felt pretty good about, the rest of the way, going in. We felt like that we could match them, their strength, their power inside. And we felt like if we just can get ourselves back in that ball game that, we could kind of wear on you a little bit.
All right. Again, for the second straight week, we should mention Jason Whitaker, the GLIAC Offensive Player of the Week. He had 5 touchdowns 2 Saturdays ago. Got the GLIAC Offensive Player of the Week. This Saturday, 5 more touchdown passes, tying his own school record, and he rushed for one as well. Just a fantastic, in his second start as a Panther. I don't know what more you could ask of that young man in his 2 starts.
It was identical, week 1 and week 2 for him starting. It was identical numbers. I think the difference was maybe 7 yards.
1 yard, 360 passing, and 2 games ago, 361 Saturday.
Wow.
1 yard difference.
Wow, I didn't realize that. And, to his credit, he works hard, he studies. Both, the quarterbacks that have gotten time for us and that's been playing well, both of those guys are, grad transfers, and, they understand the position. They're very mature young men, and, they've done a great job here with picking up our system, and they're still learning the system. If you think back to the last 2 performances by Whitaker, he looked that much more comfortable this last week, So he's still got a ways to go, and he'll tell you that. He's picking up on everything, and, he gets in there. He watches a lot of film with us, and he's just getting more comfortable with those receivers. And, boy, they're starting to look good together.
Started the comeback in the second quarter. What was said at halftime? What were you stressing at points of stress in that at halftime?
Well, at halftime,
you're down 10, 24-14.
Yeah, to be totally transparent with you, we said we're right where we want to be because we're going to get the football. Okay, we're going to get the football, and we seem to, be able to go down and score. I don't want to say with ease, but we felt like everything that we wanted, game plan for. I thought Devin put together a tremendous game plan for him, and everything was there. So that was truly the discussion. But we talked about getting more stops. We talked about getting more stops, and we didn't want them to continue to establish and knock time off the clock on us. But we wanted to give our offense plenty of shots at scoring and obviously ultimately winning the game.
And you scored every time you had the ball in the second half except one. So that was a great offensive adjustment with that. I mention you mentioned Coach Russell. The fans can see the players and the offense and the touchdowns and the receptions and some other great highlights. We're going to play that Keyshawn Richards run a little bit later on in the program. But your new offensive coordinator, Coach Russell, he's dialing up consistently the right play for your guys.
Yeah, he's come in. He's another smart guy. He's come in, and he had tremendous challenges when he got here. During spring ball, he had to come in and learn. He pretty much came in and injected his system into our terminology, and he's done a tremendous job. And we felt like in the interview process, that was one of the things we talked about, is that and it pretty much is the reason why he won the coordinating job here, is because he understood the fact that it was going to be easier for him to interject himself into our system and then bring his own system within, okay? So he had to learn all the terminology, but at the same time, he slowly but surely added all of his nice little tricks, to it. And then on top of that, he just has a tremendous mind for the game. He understands our athletes, and he loves the tools that he has. He loves the tools, and he gets to just sit back there and, play X's and O's.
All right, before we get to the break, real quick word. We're going to bring Austin Allward in. Tell us a little bit about what he means to your program already. It continues to grow in that area.
What an awesome young man. The family. I'm familiar with the family. More so the dad than anyone. But, man, they've done one heck of a job of raising this guy. He's a classy young man. He's done a tremendous job here. He came in as a receiver. Okay, and I worked him out, and I was excited about his future, but I really didn't think that he would turn into a receiver right away, because we had some guys that could play. But myself and Mello, we looked at his length, and he's such an athlete, and we said, hey, let's try him at defensive end. And all of a sudden, we put him over there, man, and he has just blossomed into one heck of a football player for us. But more importantly, when you get a chance to speak with him, man, he's a great dude. He's a pretty cool kid, and he's always smiling. He has fun. He enjoys the game, and those are the kind of kids that you win big games with, and ultimately you win championships with.
All right, let's get to Austin. We'll take a break. Come back. We'll continue with the Davenport Coaches Show live from Uccello's in Caledonia.
West Michigan home buyers, if you're considering lenders, please contact Mario Flores at 231-638-0200 at Van Dyke Mortgage on the Lakeshore. It's a wonderful time to be in the market for a mortgage when you choose Van Dyke Mortgage on the Lakeshore. Van Dyke's loan experts know how to help you prepare and help you get approved. Don't wait for the market to be perfect. Start your planning with Mario Flores, branch manager at Van Dyke Mortgage on the Lakeshore.
Mario Flores, NMLS number 135862. Van Dyke Mortgage Corporation, Corp. NMLS number 3035. 231-638-0200. MarioFlores.VanDykeMortgage.com. Van Dyke Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
We continue with the Davenport Coaches Show live from Uccello's in Caledonia. They do a great job hosting us every Tuesday night here. We have a lot of fun here and get a chance to learn more about the players and coaches, not only in football but also other sports. We've got track and field and cross country we'll talk about in a little bit here, and just so stay with us here. But right now, our special guest, redshirt sophomore linebacker Austin Allward out of Middleville and Thornapple Kellogg High School, joins us right now. And Austin, first let's talk a little bit about this team. 4-0 start. I don't know what your expectations were, but it's got to feel awful good to be off to this kind of start.
Oh, it's amazing. I mean, just getting started and getting rolling with the whole team, it's beautiful to see everything come together and all the hard work that we put in through multiple seasons, and it's finally coming off. So 4-0 feels good.
Tell us about when you started to get the feel that things are starting to click for this team. Was it right away in that first win, or was it come a little bit later?
Honestly, it felt like in the summer we had something that was going to be terrific, and after we got that first win, it kind of solidified that we were going to be something, and we just have to keep working and keep getting after it.
Well, you're really coming on 4 tackles 2 games ago, 7, team high 7 on Saturday. What was the key for you to get in on so many tackles Saturday in the win over Michigan Tech?
Honestly, it was a game scheme for our defense. We are set up to stop specific things, and when we work as a D-line together, it's easy to get your job done and play on top and be something special.
Coach told us that you came in as a receiver, and they liked to think about you and the length and everything. Let's go back to that time when they first sat you down and said, hey, let's talk about going the other side of the ball. Were you wild about that at that time, or what did you think, honestly?
At the time, I always had it in my mind that I was going to be a receiver, but I'm a very optimistic person, so when it comes to opportunities, I'm definitely willing to take a chance and be something, and I guess I took advantage of the opportunity. Instead of making it seem like it was something negative, I took it and ran with it a little bit, so it felt good. At first it was a little off, but once I clicked, once I sat down with the coaches, I was like, okay, this is something that I can get into.
What was the hardest adjustment going from offense to defense for you?
The hardest adjustment, I would say, just the mindset of, all right, I'm not scoring anymore. We have to.
You're not into the end zone.
Exactly. We got to keep them out of the end zone. So it was a switch of, all right, we gotta be dogs out here. It's all us. We're all together. So we gotta stop these people instead of getting in there and making plays. So
well, we got you this year and 2 more years after that, but you're majoring in business administration. What are you thinking about maybe doing with that degree down the road, Austin?
Right now I'm not 100% sure, but I definitely would like to. I'm a personal trainer as well, so I really enjoy helping people, so I want to use that and kind of use my degree as something that sets a path for me to explore in personal training and helping people.
Who and where do you train people?
Actually down at Max Effort Performance right in Caledonia.
Okay.
So a lot of sports teams, Caledonia sports teams. That's our biggest one, but I actually got my old high school. I got their football team this summer too. So
did you?
Training them is awesome because I know what they want to do and I've been in their shoes, so it's easy for them to trust the process.
It's great to have someone like you, a great role model with that as well. Would you like to stay here in West Michigan, or would you be willing to go anywhere in the country if the right job popped up?
Like I said, I'm optimistic, so if something popped up that caught my attention, I wouldn't be hesitant to take advantage of that.
You're one of the leaders. Can you pick one guy that you say on the defensive side that is maybe more the heart and soul in terms of just of leadership? That as far as the other guys look to him and admire him.
As a defense, it's kind of hard to say because we all feel like we have a certain role that plays a part, that we need each other. But when it comes down to it, Manalise Basse, he's a good guy. He keeps everything rolling and he keeps us unified.
You're not the first player that's told me that. Elise Ambase is really a big part of that defense, and And that carries on outside of the field of play, doesn't it?
Oh, 100%. That's what I'm saying. I know I'm outside the field more than on the field because I've been around him more outside of the field. So it's cool to see him work the way he works outside of the field and treat people with respect, and also on the field as well. So,
all right, one final question for you, Austin. Tell us, how do you and your teammates, I know you've already beaten Northern Michigan at our place 31-21. It was a good ball game. How do you overcome being overconfident because you've already beaten them and realize it doesn't matter what happened before?
The 4-0 start is definitely a good feeling, but we don't feel like we're there yet. You know, we continue to work day in, day out. We know we have to get done, and the job is there. So we just have to finish, and we have to get paid.
Great to have you with us, buddy. Austin Allward doing a great job for the Panthers so far. We'll take a break, come back and talk some track and field and cross country. Stay with us. Davenport Coaches Show continues live from Uccello's in Caledonia.
Thank you.
Van Dyke Mortgage on the Lakeshore's commitment to finding the right home loan for you is second to none. The experienced licensed team at Van Dyke on the Lakeshore will work hard to give you a smooth and timely mortgage process from application to closing. Mario Flores, branch manager, Van Dyke Mortgage on the Lakeshore, has access to a full range of mortgage products so that you get the right loan with a great rate, the terms you're looking for, and costs to meet your unique needs. Call Mario Flores at 231-638-0200 today and experience the Van Dyke Mortgage difference.
Mario Flores, NMLS 135862, Van Dyke Mortgage Corporation, Corp NMLS 3035, 231-638-0200, marioflores.vandykemortgage.com. Van Dyke Mortgage is an equal housing lender, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
We roll on the Davenport Coaches Show live from Uccello's, Caledonia. Switching gears now to talk a little track and field and a little cross country. Scott Cook joins us now. Scott, in his 16th season, heading up the men's and women's program in both sports, indoor and outdoor track. I got 3 sports, indoor and outdoor cross country, and the only track and field coach and cross country coach we've ever had at Davenport, going back to our NAIA days. This has got to feel special to you to see your programs grow. From just starting out and learning how to compete to now you're at the Division II level.
Yeah, it's been quite a journey. Of those first couple of years starting a program, we only had a few kids and had some fun, but really needed to learn how to grow and be competitive until, and making a transition from NAI to NCAA Division II is almost like starting over again. You have a lot of great kids, but they're not quite as competitive at the next level. And then, in our third year being able to compete at a national level, last year having Isaiah Schaefer win a national championship in the shot put, both indoor and outdoor, was a pretty big highlight for us.
I was going to bring up that Isaiah Schaefer, the national championship like that. What does that mean to your program, and does that carry over in recruiting, or is that too far of a stretch?
It really does. I was talking to our throws coach today, and a kid from Nebraska called. So say, hey, I'm interested. I know you guys did a great job. You had a national champion in the shot put, and that, that's my ultimate goal. So yeah, that's not lost on recruits.
Back to that transition from NAIA to D2, what was the biggest jump for your program? What was the hardest thing for you and your fellow coaches in that transition from NAIA to D2?
I think just competitive, and most of that has to do with the GLIAC. The GLIAC is an exceptional conference, between, and Ashland has left the conference now, but between Grand Valley and Ashland, you're talking about 2 of the top 4 teams year in and year out for the last decade. So to be able to compete with them when we were, competing in the NAI and the WAC, it's a whole different ball game.
We wish Ashland well, but you don't miss them, right?
From a track standpoint, no, we don't miss them.
All right. Hey, by the way, Isaiah Schaefer, you mentioned, won the national championship. He's transferred to D1, right?
Correct. So like a lot of kids right now, he had a COVID year.
Yeah.
Got an extra year. So, he's going to grad school, graduated from Davenport in the spring, and is going to grad school at the University of Minnesota. So he's going to show all those Big Ten boys what's up.
You stay in contact still with him?
Yeah, absolutely.
How's he doing at school?
Good. I think it's a transition. He's from Pewamo, Westphalia, so a tiny little town, and then
now
came
he's
to
in the
Davenport.
Twin Cities.
And now he's in a huge city, so I think that's probably the biggest transition for him.
How about sister Emma Schaefer?
Yep.
Well, what a story she's been.
Yeah. More interesting fact, she was a All-American at both the NAIA and NCAA Division II level. I'm sure there's not too many of those on that list, but just a storied career here, everything we want out of an athlete at Davenport.
Scott Cook, our guest here on the Davenport Coaches Show here from Uccello's in Caledonia. Scott, I know the coaching axiom is that you like all the events, and you have to. You have to be focused on all the events at the same time. But is there one particular event that you personally enjoy the most watching people compete in, whether it's your guys or gals or another team, just watching a track meet? Is there one event that you're fond of especially?
Well, there is one. The coolest event in track and field is the hammer throw. It's not something that I coach. My throws coach goes it, but
what makes that stand out?
It takes unbelievable athleticism. It's dangerous. It's scary, and it is so impressive. Especially if you've ever picked up a hammer and you have guys throwing 60 meters over 200 feet, a ball on a wire that weighs 16 pounds. It's pretty impressive.
It absolutely is. Let's talk a little bit about, again, cross country now. You're just, you only got one meet in?
Two. We just had our second meet.
Second one. That seems late in the season to me. Explain that.
Okay, so this year the NCAA Division II for fall sports has what they call a festival year. So that means in December all of the fall championships will be together. Football's not included in that, but volleyball, soccer, field hockey, cross country are all at the same site. So that actually pushes our season back 2 weeks. So we're just 2 weeks behind where we normally are.
Well, fortunately, we've had a really nice fall weather-wise, right? So that's helped, but that's going to change.
Yeah, it can change in a hurry.
Well, let's talk about that weather change. When you get into, in the spring or whatever, with fall with cross country, in the spring with track and field, what do you do differently when it gets cold and nasty and raining and stuff?
Well, most of our kids are from Michigan, so they're used to that.
Okay.
That's not any different than what they had to deal with in high school. Most of our cross-country kids they'd rather be cold than hot. You can always put on a layer, but you can't shed anything else.
Scott, you and your wife and your two children live close to here.
Yep.
How do you balance that? Because with those different sports you're coaching at different sides of it, you're gone a lot. How do you balance that family-coach balance?
And that's the hardest part of it. Just being away a lot and making sure when you can be home, you're home, and making sure those opportunities count when you're at home and getting everything you can do and see.
So what keeps you doing it, Scott? Because you've been doing it 16 years now, and what's the buzz for you? What do you get out of it the most?
I think just having great kids and helping them reach their goals. There's nothing more fun than that. If kids set their minds and they want to do something, you can help them in that process. There's just nothing better than that.
All right, Scott. So tell us why the fans should come out and watch your teams this spring in track and field.
Our kids compete hard. Track and field's a lot different at the college level than it is high school level. So the GLIAC has had tons of national championships and kids that have gone on and run world-class stuff. So you'll see some pretty incredible athletes at our meets.
Well, that's great. So keep an eye on DUPanthers.com for the schedule. That's Scott. Thanks for stopping by.
All right, thanks, Rick.
Have some more Uccello's food here, all right?
All right.
We'll take a break, come back to Sparky, and talk about this week's game here. Stay with us.
West Michigan homebuyers, if you're considering lenders, please contact Mario Flores at 231-638-0200 at Van Dyke Mortgage on the Lakeshore. It's a wonderful time to be in the market for a mortgage when you choose Van Dyke Mortgage on the Lakeshore. Van Dyke's loan experts know how to help you prepare and help you get approved. Don't wait for the market to be perfect. Start your planning with Mario Flores, branch manager at Van Dyke Mortgage on the Lakeshore.
Mario Flores, NMLS number 135862. Van Dyke Mortgage Corporation, Corp. NMLS number 3035. 231-638-0200. MarioFlores.VanDykeMortgage.com. Van Dyke Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
First and 10 for DU. Handoff, Keyshawn Richards. Got a seam. 25, 30, 35. Keyshawn Richards to the sideline. He's in the open. 40, 35, 30, 20, 15, and he's tripped up inside the 15-yard line. And that was another record-breaking performance in Saturday's win over Michigan Tech. Keyshawn Richards ripped off a 72-yard run. Coach, that's certainly noteworthy. I'm sure he probably got a little kibitzing from some of the guys that he got caught from behind, but 72 yards, school record, that's impressive.
Yeah, he got caught. He won't be running track for Scott. So, he was it was a tremendous call, and then he did a great job of, getting us down there close, and we actually I think 2 plays later got in the end zone.
We did, and that certainly was a big key to that. And, boy, I tell you what, with him and the Beef, nice thunder and lightning combination there Saturday.
Yeah, don't forget about Hart.
And in Jair, right? Yeah, let's not.
He was out. And
yeah, he was out. We going to see him back this week?
He'll be back. Yeah, he'll be back. So we're excited about that. And, we got a 3-headed monster back there in the backfield, and all those guys are pretty close, and they do a great job. We call them the stable, so they do a really good job of carrying the mail for us.
All right, Northern Michigan, you beat them 31-21 our place in the non-conference game on September 17th. But now this was a league contest. This one goes in the standings, so that makes it much, much bigger. What do you expect differently from Northern from what you saw 3 weeks ago?
They're a much different team right now. They're a much different team. They've got different personnel packages where they're having 2 and 3 tight ends in the game, and they're very physical, and they're downhill. And it kind of reminds you of the Northern Michigan teams of old. Okay, and they get downhill on you fast, Rick, and they're very physical, and they've got another quarterback in there. Actually,
Zach Keene.
Yeah.
He was 23 for 29, Coach, 297 yards. 23 for 29. That's an impressive percentage.
Yeah, he's very impressive, and he's a bigger body guy, just like Jason, and man, he spins it pretty well too. So now they've got 2 quarterbacks that you got to prepare for. I assume we'll end up playing against both those guys. Both are tough guys to prepare for. You got one that really moves around as an athlete and ignites that offense, and he's been a little dinged up. I could tell that he's been dinged up since like week 2. I feel like we really know Northern Michigan, and they really know us, but the thing that's different now, though, they truly have changed their offense. So, we have a tall order in trying to figure out what's going to happen here, with them offensively. But the one thing I do know is this: they're players. We got a good idea who is going to line up for them, and they're tough kids. They compete hard. They went in and they pretty much took it to Wayne State physically. So
yeah, we mentioned the 300 yards, but Tyshawn King, that running back, that shifty running back, he still got 94 yards on the ground, 6 yards a pop.
Yeah, I said it a couple weeks ago. Remember, I said he's the best running back. This is just me now, okay? I think he's the best running back in our conference, and I think this is a kid that once his career is done at the collegiate level, he's going to have a shot at the next level, because this guy, he ran the ball well against us the first time, and he's one that now they actually play him a little more in the passing game as well. He does a good job blocking. So their identity to who they are right now is the way that they're playing. So it's going to be a tough, hard-nosed football game.
All right, you mentioned a running back, whether it's one of yours or one of the opponents like this, Coach, that has potential maybe in the next level. What attributes does a running back show you that says he's got potential to go beyond this? The fans in the stands and me and stuff will see the running touchdowns and that, but what actually do you need to see?
Well, physically, there's a lot actually that goes into it. Behind the scenes, they'll do their evaluations of this young man to see if it's that type of person that they want at that level. But when it comes to the physical side of things, size. Okay, eye test, you pass that first. He's got great size. He's got great balance. He's got tremendous feet. His ability to stop and change directions on a dime is very, very, very impressive. He's built low to the ground, and he's physical. He's very physical. So, you never see one guy bring him down, okay, or trip him up. So this is a guy, he runs with his pad level low. He finishes forward all the time, and he's pretty explosive, So he's going to have a shot down the road, and our guys know that when it comes to tackling him, you're going to have to get 2 or 3 guys rallying to the ball.
All right, finally, tell us about the travel plans, when you'll leave town, and what's going to happen between the time you leave and when you kick it off, 1 o'clock Saturday in Marquette.
Well, we'll practice on Thursday, and then our guys, we will. It's a long trip. It's a long trip for you. And
practice in the morning.
Yeah, we're a morning operation. We'll practice here. We'll eat here, and then we'll get on the bus and head up, towards to Marquette, and then the next day, we'll figure out what we're going to do. Our walkthroughs are very, very light and limited. I think it's starting to get a little cool up there, right now, even though we play indoors.
It's going to be in the 30s in the morning, Friday and Saturday, yes.
Yeah. So we really, very seldom do we even do a walkthrough. We just do call-outs and things like that. But we'll go to their stadium and we'll run around a little bit just to get the bus ride out, things like that, just to break a little sweat. But, everything's light. We have fun. We'll kick the ball around a little bit so our guys get used to catching in that ceiling in there. Because it's a tremendous facility that they have there.
It is the Superior Dome or the Uper Dome.
Yeah,
it's a cool. It's
it's
really
pretty cool. I wish all our fans could see it.
Yeah.
And the thing that's tough though in there is when you're fielding punts. Because that leather ball blends in with the.
It does on the roof,
background.
and I've seen some good return men lose the ball up in the ceiling there.
Remember years ago when Saginaw had 7 or 8 fumbles? It was Saginaw and Northern Michigan up there in that dome. So you got to know what you're doing, and you got to have some veterans back there that's going to field the punts.
So again, it's 1 o'clock Saturday. If you want to hear our audio broadcast, you got to click on the audio. Listen, if you can watch it, that's fine, but you won't hear our audio. You want to hear us, you got to tune in, click on the audio this Saturday. Coach, let's keep it going.
Absolutely.
Let's come back and go 5-0 in 1 week. Talk about it 1 week from the night. All right?
Man, sounds good.
All right, Coach Sparky McEwen. Thanks to him. Scott Cook, track and country coach. Track and field and cross country coach joining us as well. Austin Allward from the team. Appreciate that as well. So that'll wrap it up tonight. The Coaches Show from Uccello's in Caledonia. So till next time, for Coach McEwen, I'm Rick Berkey saying, go Panthers.